So as usual, we'll start with a prayer. Where is our master, Gunasita Raman? Is he?
Oh, I'm here. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're there. Oh, you changed it to a lamp. Okay. Okay. That's nice.
Okay. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Uvamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspada Anasranvannudibi Sida Sadhanam Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Sir, I would like to chant Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu,
Okay,
Guru Deva
please.
Maheswaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sorry,
Om
sir.
Gurave Namaha, Om Gurave Namaha, Om Gurave Namaha. It's going to be interactive, but let's keep the, keep focusing on the topic. And when you're done, always go back to mute. It's very difficult for me to do the editing. So in this two pictures, when you see these two pictures, what comes to your mind? What aspect of our life comes to our mind? Keep it short, just one-liner or two-liner.
Sharanagati, Guruji.
Okay.
We have to perform the karma.
Which one? The top picture and the bottom picture. There are two different, in the context. You can see there is a difference. What is on the top? What is on the second? Or which houses in your horoscope will you connect to the top picture and the second picture? The bottom.
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th, Guruji.
Very good. Okay, fantastic. 9th and 10th house. As Sri Devi said, let's do Guru Brahma, she said, right? So for karma to unfold, you need the 9th house. And that's why it is very close. And what is peculiar about 9th and 10th house? 9th is the largest trikona, right?
Sir.
Yeah, biggest trikona. And 10th is, of course, the biggest kendra. See, any thought that comes to your mind that is relating to this, what we're going to discuss today, keep it focused. Immediately type it out in the comment section. Sometimes you might come up with some rare, ideas. So, there are so many people in this world who say that work is God, right? Have you heard of that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there are many people. You say, I don't go to temples. You see,
They don't believe in God, but they
believe in hard work. Okay.
Yes.
So there are many types of people in this world, and you do not know which one is right and which one is wrong. Sometimes you might be giving statements or your view, and it might be, just your view, may not be the universal view. And for the universal view, the best book on earth is the Bhagavad Gita. That's why it's getting popular day by day. More and more people are, reading it or listening to people who give discourses on Bhagavad Gita. Is my audio level correct? Is it very high? Or is
No,
it
sir,
low?
it is.
Yeah, okay. So after begging for knowledge, begging for guidance, that part is the prayer part. And that's why the 9th house is called the house of Dharma, right? The way. And it is also the Bhagya. Consider it your good fortune if you have a good father a good faith, meaning you go to your place of worship, you believe in whichever religion you're born into. You don't question that. And if you are a believer of God, then there are greater chances for success. So if it follows this route from 9th to the 10th, it's usually better. Can anyone say, why can't we skip the 9th and go straight to the work?
Because it is the dharma, sir.
No,
We
what
cannot
happens if you go
ignore
straight? If you go straight to karma?
We will not
we
know
will
what
lose
the karma is.
guidance from the guru.
So what will it end? What will you end up with? What are the possibilities if you do not get guidance?
In the average sense, carpenter's rule apply. When you don't have the guidance and start doing things, you will be in an endless cycle of repeating things.
Okay, you make it, the design is wrong. This doesn't fit into that, and you don't know what happened. You don't know how to calculate. You never studied, that part. Exactly. The chances of doing bad karma is very high if you had not come through the 9th house track. In the Kala Purusha, which the 9th house is ruled by which graha? Jupiter, right? And we've been told n number of times that Jupiter saves the situation. Whatever dosha you're reading, if Jupiter is connected, then the problem is solved to that extent. Why? Because if you get guidance, you can do problem solving. You get a teacher, they'll tell you how to solve it. Otherwise, like Guna Sitaraman says, goes on endlessly. Like how I was turning the Rubik's Cube for nearly 2 years without figuring out how to do it. Okay. Until I met a teacher. He taught the method less than 30 minutes. What I could not learn in 2 years. So that's the power of the 9th house. Conventional, traditional, the regular, why is it so powerful? Because it is tested. That's why classical books are 9th house stuff. It's almost tested. Like it has survived. Most probably you can, it will work. There are more chances for classical textbooks to give us more information on astrology than maybe even later books. What else is connected to 9th house? I think nothing else, right? So it is all about righteousness, okay? The dharma, the right way.
Can we say the Sanchita Karma, Guruji?
No. See, when you talk about life, each life is only prarabdha karma. Okay? It is not Sanchita. It's not anything else except prarabdha. Because only that is being brought forward under these planetary positions. But on the background, you're adding to Sanchita, subtracting from Sanchita as the prarabdha goes down, meaning that you clear up the sins, all that is there. But whatever was or whatever is in your life is only prarabdha karma. Okay. One of the main rules for success in life is staying focused on the purpose of your life. You are assigned to do something. That's called the 10th house, the purpose of life. In the Western world, whenever a person turns a little spiritual or gets into astrology, they often ask question is, what is the purpose of my life? And they expect the astrologer to tell them salvation. Is salvation the purpose of Arjuna's life?
No, sir.
How do you know that? when he said no?
Because his purpose is to fight with his cousins to attain the kingdom, sir. He never mentioned he is looking for the salvation.
But though a lot of information is being given about salvation also, right?
Right, sir.
But that Sri Krishna says comes later, because you have something else to do first. But there's an order, 9th, 10th, 11th, and lastly the 12th. So we go in cycles, 9, 10, 11, 12, we die and we are born again. And then again, we have some karma. Somebody spoke about Sanchita. So from that, we draw prarabdha and come down again into a mother's womb and then start all over again. So this cycle goes on. And while doing your work, your allotted work, Krishna says, even if it is not done well, it is better you stay there. Don't get confused. How many people get confused? Try this, try that, and so on. Very difficult to find out by guessing. It's very tough actually also to find out. But some people, you can see from the horoscope, it is so evident, and some it is not. Okay, so sometimes you can even say that the purpose of life is so clear or so strong in a particular person, because in the description of Arjuna, Sri Krishna, when he talks about the highest in everything, he says, of warriors, I am Arjuna. He tells it to Arjuna. So he is all praise for Arjuna, because you know the story that when Arjuna looks at something as a target, he doesn't see anything else. He's like the modern sports person who keeps winning all the games. So therefore, he's eligible, maybe, to listen to Sri Krishna. So something is very urgently needed to establish dharma, because some bad has happened. Something bad has been done by the Kauravas. And that has to be settled. So you need a warrior like Arjuna. So in this world, you will need doctors, you will need engineers, you will need all kinds of people. And for that, there is always some coaching. 9th house stuff comes before. College is usually the 9th house. So you can always see if the 9th house is afflicted, people have some problems with higher education. But sometimes it can also be they have to go away to another country, sacrifice everything in homeland, and then study elsewhere. So in Parashari astrology, the remedies portion, you'll always see there is a prayer part and there is a action part. What is action part? Give away a black cow in charity in Saturn Mahadasha. If Saturn is the lord of 7th or, second, especially second. So you find it will be a mix of Mahamrityunjaya Homa, which is actually more to do with gods and rituals, which is on the top. But the second is, can you do something about it? Can you work and do something about what was done in the past life as prayashchit? Okay. Anybody else wants to say something about these two pictures?
When we totally surrender, the teacher's grace will guide you through. You just have to listen to your instinct. Instinct, of course, comes from the teacher. If we have surrendered ourselves and eliminated fear, doubt, etc., and just pay attention only to the facts,
then you're able to do the 10th house properly. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
For most of us, the trouble is, as someone pointed out, Sanchita Karma, it's not, we are in performing the action, but oftentimes the blockage comes in the form of doubt, impatience, and due to that, we may end up creating anger and saying something that we create secondary effects that we have to deal with as opposed to the real purpose.
Good. Can you look at the chariot and look at the 4 horses, and can you guess what are the 4 horses?
Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, sir.
Okay, very good answer. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Sri Krishna is the soul inside you, which is actually the driving force. Without him, this chariot won't move. It's okay. We are dead. And Arjuna is the actual, what they call the Jivatma. And it has something to do. Some work has been assigned. And the battlefield is life, because life is a battlefield. All the time we are having a battle. Very rarely do we have time for anything else. I mean, on the top you can see a picture that captivated me maybe 35 years ago. I used to stare at it continuously. What wisdom. Can see a baby born, right? And then growing. I'm sure all of you must have seen this in the ISKCON books. So beautiful. And you can see at the end, there is a skeleton, and from there again a cycle begins. The Atma goes to another mother, and from there it starts all over again. Okay. This was the first sloka I memorized from Bhagavad Gita. I used to tell this very often to all my relatives and friends. So this is the basis for horoscope itself, okay? That we are born again and again. Why do we have a horoscope? In the first place, it is because you existed before. Think about it. When a child is born, you are able to talk about the child. Talk about what this child is. Whether this child is going to have such and such experiences. How can you say that if that child had no past? How can you tell something about a person if there was no past? The next world championship, who will be the chess champion, Kishorji?
It could be Pragnananda or Arjun Erigasi.
Okay. So fast.
Pure nationalist.
But that's because Kishorji knows those two people very well. And he's been watching them. So there is a past. Okay, he will never be able to say something about somebody who's not there, who hasn't played chess. Only if you know there is a past, you can talk about him, about its future or his future or her future. Na jayate mriyate va kada chinnayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha. All this actually one of the most important lines in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So this is forever. This doesn't go anywhere. There are a lot of people in this world who keep wasting their time making statements like, in the end, what will it take? Nothing. How many of you believe that? We are all going to
sir,
die.
like they're talking about materialistic things, sir. Maybe.
No. For most people, they can't even think of rebirth. You know that? We are all different class. Do you know at least 50% of the world cannot even think of rebirth? Most people, you think that's impossible, right? But most people are very sure that there's no rebirth. After death, it's over. You don't exist at all. Whereas in Bhagavad Gita, no. We are born again and again. If you are not born again and again, there is no horoscope. Why should I have one horoscope and why should you have another horoscope? What have you done? What have I done? We are all different because our past is not the same. Always I see some short videos on YouTube which say, we are all going to die. Where? We are not going to die. That's the problem. If you're going to die, beautiful. That's the end of it. The rishis have been struggling for many lives for ending the cycle of, being born. And there are many people who say, why should they do all this? We are anyway going to die and that's it. Game over. After this game of chess is over, you start with the next game. This game of badminton is over. Tomorrow again, I start the next game. Okay. We go on and on with it. So they waste time by talking, this is the end. In the end, we are all going to the earth. We're going to be buried or cremated. So what is so serious about life? Nothing to worry. But if you look at this picture, there is something to worry, right? Because now you'll have to worry about where you're going to be born again. In what conditions are you going to be born again? Will you have a father and mother, or will that father or mother throw you away? Will they give you food? Will they send you to school? All these problems are there. So this, that we are born again and again, and there's no end to it until we attain salvation, is totally different from the normal death that we call, what we call. When we don't even call it the final death, we only call it as salvation. So if you look at this picture, you can see planets are in infancy stage. This is Baladi Avastha. And various stages of life. There are people who believe that if a planet is in the dying phase, the Mrita Avastha, then you may need to do some homas or havans, puja, so that it doesn't die. So as in Maharishi Maheshwari's ashram, this was constantly, they used to give us a tick this, any planet in Mrita Avastha. Which are the best planets for functioning? Mostly it is a youth. That's the ideal one. Because infancy you can't do much, and dying also you can't do much. But in infancy there is a lot of scope for that planet. It's going to grow. Okay, this I think you know from beginner's class. So this karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu is a very famous line, which you all know. I think you should have seen it in n number of places. In on the wall paintings, you could have seen it. Pictures hung on the wall. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. If you win in a game, who is responsible for that? You or the opponent?
Opponent.
Are you sure?
Both are responsible, Guruji.
Both are responsible.
And the tournament organizer.
Who is the tournament organizer?
God.
Exactly. Beautiful. So now you're getting into the mood. So I want everybody to participate like this. But you see the last line. The last word is akarmani. Akarmani means not doing any work. So when you are very successful, he says, don't be too much, egoistic about I can do it. I am the world champion. I'm the greatest. I'm the richest. There's nobody like me. All that. At the same time, do not be without doing your duties as well. You have to do your duty. But why does God say you are not entitled to the fruits of action? Why? If you have a loan, you work very hard, the salary gets into your account, and then suddenly some portion of the salary is gone. What happened to your fruits of action? Where did it go?
Paid off, sir.
So it goes to which what is the reason for that? You took a
For the
loan
loan.
in the past. Okay, that's prarabdha karma, the loans of our past life. That is the reason why in Parashari remedies you will always see give, give, give. Okay. So the last portion, Mate Sangotsu Akarmani, is no. Na. Ma, I think, is no. Okay. Neither shall you be without working also. So here the Supreme Lord is mentioned in chapter number 11. He says, I am mighty time, the source of destruction that comes forth to annihilate the worlds. Even without your participation, the warriors arrayed in the opposite army will cease to exist. So it's all a matter of time. So what is this connected to? In horoscope, what is this connected to? I am mighty time.
Saturn.
Dasha Bhakti, Guruji.
Dasha, Antardasha, beautiful. One more thing I'm looking for.
The
As
12th house, Guruji.
No, as time passes by, what happens?
The fruits will ripen.
No. In the horoscope, what happens? Dasha, Antardasha changes. Anything else?
Planets do a transit, Guruji.
The Gochara Phala, right? Planet transits. They're very important. The entire Ashtavarga chapter is completely based on transit. You will be surprised and sometimes shocked at the accuracy of the Sarvasvarga rule of timing events based on nakshatra. And all these transit studies that modern astrologers are doing can see how beautifully the logic plays itself out. That when a planet reaches this point, then the event happens. So in the sky, in our solar system, some planets have come to a particular point. And so this is the real time, or the real clock in our world, not the clock that we use. The clock with so many planets moving around reveals the real time for all of us. The same thing. Do you see a chakra in Vishnu's hand? When I was a kid, I used to watch this, Krishna movies, and so nice to see. He will just leave his that chakra discus, and he'll go and cut the. Those days the graphics weren't that good, but still they managed to do something. Wow, what a weapon! It just goes round, 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 and then cuts off the head, and then comes back. This is the solar system. Okay. This one also is a much often, quoted sloka from Bhagavad Gita. Chatur Varnyam Maya System, Guna Karma Vibhagasha. So in this, Vishnu says that there is guna and karma, and these create the four divisions in this world. A combination of these, the three gunas and the four karmas, work types. But in the second portion, you see, and although I am the creator of the system, though I am you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Anybody wants to say why? He first starts up by saying, it was created by me, Maya system. I created it. But later he says, even though I created it, I'm still not the doer. What is it about? What is he talking about? Anyone?
Is he mentioning to this entire worldly existence as a Leela, like how a chess player plays a game of chess? Though he's playing the game, he is not the participant.
Who the player is not the participant?
The player is not participating. The pieces are moving around. The pieces think that they are moving by themselves, but actually the player is moving it. So he says that he is the creator of the game itself, but the game is not going to affect him. Well, if you use that allegory, then it comes as everything is Leela, right? Leela.
Okay. Anybody else? Whenever people talk about caste in India, this is often quoted. No, it's not about caste. We never had caste system at all. It was only division of labor or division of type of the society. It's not Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but just four types.
That's a topic often I have to deal with here. And I generally give people the concept that wherever there are transactions, if it is not locally balanced, it will ultimately polarize into multiple changes. Some people are going to be at very advantageous situation, and some people will be in a helpless situation. That happens in every culture and every century. Ultimately, it comes down to your prarabdha karma plus the current action and the opportunities given to you.
Very good. Okay. So four types of... So actually when Swami Chinmayananda went to Australia, he was almost quizzed by one of the participants. I think four of them were together asking him questions about what's happening in the world of Vedanta or India. And there was one, I think an Indian smart guy there who tried to corner him by saying, are you not from the land of casteism? You have Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So Swami Chinmayananda says, no, there are Brahmins in Australia also. There are Kshatriyas in Australia also. There are Vaishyas in Australia and Shudras in Australia. And they didn't understand what he said. Later, he goes on to explain what it is. So you must watch that video.
Yeah, that's a similar argument. See, for example, many Indian technologists and Chinese who have come here have managed to move up, but there are still local people who did not have the education and wherewithal at their early age. No matter how hard they work, there is a difficulty. But that does not mean it's racism. It is just casteism. But the manner in which nature becomes multiple layered, like when you cook the cake and then heal it down, layers form. The same thing.
So that's the meaning of what he says by Maya system. It is bound to happen, he says. It is created. Okay. So when he says something is created, the system is created. So the best way to look at this is, let's say you are the school system, which creates a system and says somebody gets this much mark, you will be called as, distinction students. And then if mark is from here to here, you will be called first class, and then second class, and then fail. Now, 4 types. So it has been created, right? So this has been created.
I would even say more than created, manifested. See, for example, in an ocean, which is very large, you take a temperature probe and keep going down. As you keep going down, the temperature and pressure changes. It's not manageably something small, somebody created it. Sometimes people argue in these kind of caste systems when things come. They say, oh, the people who created the rules are insensitive, and they did it such a way that it is advantageous to people who are well educated. It's not the case. Take ocean or take nature. Even in the air, if you keep on going at different altitude, the pressure changes and temperature changes and humidity changes. Did somebody create it humanly? No, it's nature.
So when God speaks about from the point of his own creation, you can swap it with the term creation or nature itself. It's automatic. When you say automatic, it can also be the same God. Okay. Very difficult to say how this happens, how always this happens in the same way.
Yeah, as a Hindu, I accept that God, but what I'm saying that in the Western discourse or scientific people, when they come and argue with it, we can turn the table against them and say, well, okay, this is nature. Tell me why not?
Okay.
Sir, maybe the sloka means just my thought, sir.
Ah.
I am created this universe, and you are the one. You will choose yourself in which of the 4 types you want to be. I am the non-doer. Maybe, sir.
Can you say the person chooses to fail? In case we are talking about the education system, some people are failing, they don't pass the exam. So it is bound to happen, right? Failures will be there, 90 plus will be there, first class will be there, second class will be there. So
yes.
It's automatic, it's nature. Okay. That's how the division is in this. Like Guna said, about even when you talk about this or that, is always there are some divisions like this everywhere. So Chinmayananda told the interviewer, are there not intellectual people here who do all the calculation part, this part and all that, who do all the creation of the law and this and that? They are called Brahmins. Are there not dynamic people, engineers, those who use tools? They are called Kshatriyas. Like that he goes on saying. Are there not business people? We call them Vaishyas. Are there not people who clean the table, take the dustbin, and put it in the vehicle? We call them Shudras. Now, how much ever we complain that we don't want all this, we want equality, that doesn't happen. So anybody talks about equality,
that cannot happen.
It is impossible to have equality. You know why? Here comes the answer. Krishna says, the system is there. It is created by me. Or if you want to use the other word for those who don't believe that there is a God, then you will have to replace the word with nature itself does it automatically. God does it automatically or nature does it automatically. Whichever way you look, it is the same. That means it's beyond you. Okay. So the only mistake you said when you spoke was the student chooses that. The student doesn't choose that. By not working properly, he fails. By working very well, he passes.
That is choosing, sir.
That is not choosing.
That
He does the work properly, and the result comes out of that. He finds himself in that layer just because of the karma done, the work done.
The effort he put in.
The effort he puts in, nature puts him there automatically. You get the point? That's the meaning of I created the system, but Krishna says, don't hold me responsible for this. I only set up the marks like that. I only wrote 0 to 50 fail, 50 to 70. I don't know what is now happening in the education field. I only set it up. But why did you fail? Why did you get high marks? I'm not responsible for that. That is the meaning of
for yourself.
Yes, Vidya Kartaram Avyayam. So I am now the non-doer. I raise my hands. I give up. I have nothing to do with you. If you suffer, you suffer. If you enjoy, you enjoy. Because I only created the system. That's the point he's making here. Okay. So this answers all the questions about why me. Okay. All this, the gap is there. It'll automatically get fulfilled. It'll get, filled up. So in every country, they will make jails. There will be the police and there will be the criminals. They will come. We only have to, dream that it will not happen. There'll always be all these 4 things forever and ever. The reason is the Atmas have the individual souls, or the what they call the beings, with all this consciousness, have their own will. They can do what they want. They choose to become something. In the same class, some people will listen to the teacher and some will not listen. Who is responsible? Only the student, not the teacher. Okay. In the almost same logic, do not lay claims over the fruit, is because there are so many things that is coming from the past and it is not completely in your hands. What happens if you are competing against a stronger person? You will not win. What happened to all your efforts? So Sri Krishna prepares you just in case. You can still be defeated, even though you put hard work. That is the way of life. You have to be prepared for it. You did everything and yet it didn't work. Okay, so only what you mean by the fruits is, just imagine like a mango tree. You just keep protecting the mango tree until it grows, keep watering it, all that, and you pray a number of times, I want the mango, it will not come. It will come only in the month of May or June. I don't know, now they're changing it to genetic stuff and all that. But normally it will come in its season. Okay. So it will come by itself. You cannot get it out of turn. You have to wait for a dasha. You have to wait for a bhukti, an antardasha, a combination. You wait for a planet to come here. And it will do all of that. Okay. So it's a very interesting knowledge that we get. The 3 gunas and the 4 karmas are all the purusharthas, etc. So in astrology, how can we have, even in planets, casteism?
These are the 4 karmas, sir. Are these, according to the sloka, these are the 4 karmas, sir?
Yes, yes.
Or what, sir?
4 types of work. The Brahmin type work, the Kshatriya type work, the Vaishya and the Shudra type work. Actually, it is not about which is high and which is low, but what you are eligible based on your past life, your prarabdha. Okay. If I lose all the games when Kishore ji conducts a class, I'll be a Shudra. I'm no good. Okay. And And if I keep winning all the games, then I must be a Brahmin. I'm just giving you some crude, ideas. So Brahmin grahas are Jupiter and Venus. What is it about? Shubha grahas, pure. But sometimes you get some confusion here. Kshatriya is Sun and Mars. So when you talk about gunas, it's slightly different. This is the 4 types of work. The Vaishya is the moon and Mercury. So in today's world, I think after the computers came in, Mercury is the biggest thing that is happening. Mercury computers. So moon and Mercury are actually the business type of grahas. Saturn, Rahu and Ketu. Sometimes there is an argument that Ketu cannot be included here. But usually Ketu can be included here. Okay. But Saturn and Rahu, for sure. Why we kept it outside is because we have some problem with Rahu and Ketu because of conjunction and aspect and relationship with some other combination can make it good. So we do not know what its original nature. But for all practical purpose, you can maybe say Rahu at least for sure is connected more towards Saturn. Because Shanivad Rahu and so on. Maybe Ketu, you can shift it over to Kshatriya if you want. That's why it is kept in as usual, Rahu and Ketu is a problem. We always keep it outside like this.
Sir, why moon Vaishya, sir?
I mean, it's stated that it belongs to that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. It's taken
Guruji,
from...
moon is also perishable goods, right? And it's also messenger. No, moon is perishable goods.
Perishable goods, okay. Maybe moon is, I think, agriculture products, right? All the agriculture thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Including farmers.
And Mercury is so much calculation. So in a transaction, there is so much calculation. But for leadership, I think Sun and Mars fit in very well. Maybe Sun is the king and Mars is the commander. So army, all of that you can say. And Jupiter and Venus people, who are the 2 people? Jupiter and Venus? Brihaspati and Venus?
Shukracharya.
Shukracharya, both are Brahmins. Okay.
Guruji, in the legends, like in the stories, right? Both Shukra and Guru are leading the war. As in, they are the strategists behind the battlefield.
Yeah, usually what happens, Kshatriyas will go closer to Brahmin side more. They will start consulting them and get ideas. Okay. So, but it's very difficult to separate them. But you can say the top category and the lowest category are miles apart. Okay. But in the middle, Kshatriya leaning towards Brahmin and Vaishya, I mean, you can draw it in a circle and look at the connections. Okay.
And the moon and the Mercury can change their characters become with the associations also. It's really very nice. Even in the chart also.
Guruji, moon and Mercury are from the same lineage, Atri lineage.
Yeah, but let's not bring in other factors. We are just, these are all standard classical astrology books mention that this is Kshatriya, these 2 people are Vaishya and so on. So let's not waste time in that. Spend time with...
Guruji, sorry. One thing that went kind of underappreciated, I think you made a very powerful statement, that is the disposition. At any given time, people can be doing any one of the 4. Although in life, there will be one dominant of the 4 per person. On any given day, we will be performing each one of these. But there will be, like, in homeopathy, when they say, like, you are Pitta, Vata, or Rajasic or whatever.
Okay.
Like that, something will be dominant, but every one of us do. And it would be really good for all our students to constantly be mindful of any time when we do anything to say, which bin am I really?
Exactly.
That would be very helpful to appreciate others. Like when we go and somebody opens the door for you because of your leadership, you need to realize, well, tomorrow when I'm walking in the mall, he's equal to me. Not the rank doesn't play there.
Good. What Guna Sitaraman said is that all these grahas are in one horoscope, right? In your horoscope, everybody is there. So sometimes you will be of this, sometimes you will be of that. Dashas will have something to do with it because dashas are for longer time. So they have a greater grip on you. You can always notice that the type of your, whatever you are, environment and all that will most probably match the Mahadasha. So like just to get you started on this, in Rahu Dasha, how I was, and when Jupiter Mahadasha came, how I was, is totally different in the way I worked and the way I think and did a lot of things. In Rahu, what I did, and Jupiter, what I did. Okay. I'm sure if you start relating to horoscopes of people, you will find that this is really, like for simple, if you see somebody with moon in the 10th, you must think, oh, most probably he'll be a business person. And most of the time you'll be right.
Guruji, so recently I learned this Nadi technique and it seems to work all the time. Now, if this is based on these 4 gunas, the 4 characters, it fits for work. So the Nadi technique is like you take Saturn and then you look at 5th and 9th from Saturn and whatever graha falls in that house. And if they are closer to Saturn's degree, so that we pick on that graha. And most likely the native is doing a business based on that graha.
Okay.
So, for example, in my chart, for example, I have both Mercury and Moon in the 5th and 9th from Saturn. So on one part of my job is chess and everything. It's all brain related stuff. And then the other side, I'm doing taking care of animals. And now I'm forced to take those 4 cows and all that. So the moon part is playing out and the Mercury part is playing out. Like this, I've tested with many charts and it seems to be, hitting the rock. I think those here can test it out and give their feedbacks.
Sure. Can you type out the idea in the chat so that it will be there for people?
Yeah, we just take Saturn and 5th and 9th from Saturn.
Okay. So here he talks about that he is the source of the light in the sun and also the moon. So he talks about the 2 most important grahas in your horoscope. All the upagrahas, remember, are calculated only from sun. So you have a very lengthy text given in BPHS with the upagrahas. They are all a function of the sun. So a lot of effects happen because of the sun. Okay.
Guruji, one more point on this. The Saturn 5th and 9th place, right? So I know this person who made his money in software. Okay. But he was selling his business for somebody that was related to Venus. So Venus is for luxury. So his software was for luxury branded cars. It was for all cars.
Okay.
So that also works.
Okay. Just type it out. So here he talks about the godly nature is about light, and that's why even in Christianity, let there be light, and there was light. It's all about light versus darkness. The splendor of the sun, and why the moon? Because the moon reflects the sunlight, but it doesn't reflect the same amount every day, and that explains why our moods are not the same. So we have differences. One day it is full moon, and some other day it is no moon and half moon, various types of reflections, but they're all originally the sunlight. but kind of different because of the intensity. So what are we? We are actually a mix of the sun, the moon, the soul and the mind, then the body, which is made up of the Panchabhutas. So all this is a plan. So the plan of the planets. So you can look at the mighty sun versus the planets. You can see it here. A very nice sloka is there. Om Japa Kusuma Samkasham. It's very popular on YouTube. Somebody has done it very well. A fantastic, a sweet voice and a good ragam to it. Please listen to it in case the sun is a functional malefic in your horoscope, or sun has
Ishan Pai does
combust
really well.
many planets. Yes?
Ishan Pai, the little kid.
Pardon me?
No, there's a kid called Ishan Pai. He's
Okay.
he's the one who has done this song really well. It's very popular.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, I loved it, and so I used to listen to it whenever I get the time. Okay. Good. Now, it's a very beautiful line here in text. That is chapter number 13, chapter number 15 and verse 13. I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So it's not only the planets, the God energy pervades the entire universe. From stated in Upanishads, Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Everything is the same thing. I mean, if you know chemistry well, you know there is simply an aggregate of electrons. There's a small difference between lead and gold, if you remember your chemistry class. But they're totally two different things. If you add one electron to hydrogen, you get, what do you get? Mustafi forgot. Helium.
Helium.
If you add one more electron to that?
Water.
Huh? No, you won't get water. You get lithium. So with the addition of each one electron, it becomes something else, completely different. So the entire universe is just the same thing all over the place. And the beauty of it, if you look at the atom, it will be almost like a solar system. With one idea, the entire universe is. I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. Now, why is all this happening? As you always say, God only knows. Why is all this in orbit? Why are they moving around? Why this universe? Why so many stars? What are they doing? For whom? For what? Just thinking about it can maybe sometimes give you salvation. Just thinking about why. So this, he says, though in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. I found it very interesting because, moon rules agriculture and water-based products. And birth is due to moon 28-day cycle, the menstruation cycle, moon and the mind, all that you can say. Karkataka Lagna people are usually more emotional in nature because they are ruled by the moon. So something about water. So here he talks the same way that people are punished in this world. You don't study well, then there is no future. You won't get certain jobs. So all this is basically a result of past life karma. And so how we take rebirth is based on two things. One, desire to be born again because you want to play the game again. And two, what is your qualification? Where can you join? Prahlad, I want to play chess with Magnus Carlsen. Will you arrange for it?
Yeah, can be done, Guruji. It's just a matter of money. I mean, I'm talking with one of their teams in one of the other projects, so I can definitely put into work.
Well, money alone won't get it. Sometimes you need to belong to the league.
So you need
Otherwise
you need a particular type of qualification to enter a particular mother. Okay, you can't enter everywhere. But just because you want to be reborn again because of desire, so it's a combination of two things. And what world will you find will be in accordance to what was done previously. So you can see the last word, eva yonisu, okay? In the womb of certain situations, you will be born into that world. In ancient times, people thought heaven and hell were outside, but I don't think in Bhagavad Gita he's talking about that. He's only talking about the world itself. So we have the heaven and the hell on earth. There's something very interesting. I try to equate it with why we should stick to the classical textbooks as much as we can. But he who disregards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims and fancies attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. It's better to just follow what was stated, okay, and not try our own things. Eventually, it will get punished. So I thought about it like this. The most ancient astrologer is actually Sage Bhrigu. And so from there on, all the classical books, it's better to consider them as scriptures and stick as much as we can to the logics given there. If you're interested in reaching some level of expertise in astrology. Speech is connected to which house? Second house. Okay. So all our assets, our family. So speech is a very important aspect of our life. So try as much as you can to use the right words, avoid foul language, recite mantras. So all the Vedic chantings. If bad planets are in the second house, what does that indicate? Or afflictions are happening in the second house?
They will say
financial problems, sir.
When you use foul language, will your spouse like it? Will anybody like it? If you use foul language with your customer, will it work?
No.
So always speak the truth and so on. So you can look at the second house and say a lot of things about this. Or at least in the past life, what was done, you will know.
Guruji, this translation, who was the translator, Guruji, of this book? Because I find some irregularities in the translation.
Yeah, there must be some. Yeah.
Because in the previous slide, there was the word Swadhyay, and Swadhyay actually means self-study,
I see.
not Vedic study. And in the previous slide, there was one which was Chaushadi, which does not mean vegetables. It means medicinal herbs or health-giving herbs.
Okay, okay. But they're still herbs. Okay. It's still agriculture.
Medicine, actually
sorry,
more of medicine. Yeah.
Sorry
Okay.
to intervene, but Sanskrit words may have hundreds and thousands of meanings. It
Not-
depends
not
on as per
thousands.
uses.
I mean, not thousands.
As per
Maybe
uses.
10 to 15 or 20. Yeah, sometimes it can be.
So I imply to say that they will have many meanings and it will vary as per the use.
This is a translation by Prabhupada.
Guruji, the translation by Swami Mukundananda is very straightforward.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's okay. We can always, deal with that because once the video is uploaded, you can also refer to other translations. Okay. While doing remedies, one should not hurt others. Sacrifices of animals, etc., is banned. Okay. And those penances and austerities which are performed foolishly by means of obstinate self-torture or to destroy or injure others are said to be in the mode of ignorance. You can see in the mythological stories how the Rakshasas pray to Lord Shiva. They do a lot of, things to get the attention. They self-torture themselves, all this. And even the Buddha, without any of, reading any of these things, by himself found out that is not the right way. Because he did do something like that, like fasting and no food for a long time. So there is a method to do it. I think the best way is to just follow the gurus. And what is the method? Even Adi Shankara said, please don't sacrifice animals. But in certain cultures, you will see animal sacrifice is still going on. So I had an experience where for a client, I told you have to donate a goat. I think some of you might already know the story. But they got me wrong and sacrificed a goat. In the next 2 weeks, the husband and wife ended with a lot of violence, a lot of blood in the house and police and all kinds of things. But I didn't know. So I said, in spite of giving the goat donation, it has happened. No, sir, it is not donation. You told us to sacrifice. So I told her, even my dreams, I will not do that. Okay. So when you do remedies, it should be only kindness. And based on the recommendations by the rishis. So there are a lot of what they call left side worship type in India, crude way of worshipping God. Sometimes you can't help it. It is part of their culture, and they will not be able to understand what we say. It's sometimes, you'll have to just leave it. Adi Shankara did, when he said stop the animal sacrifice, they made images of the animals and put it into the fire because they couldn't stop doing that. Then Adi Shankara said, even if you make symbols or images of the animals and put it into fire, it is as good as that because your intention is bad. So when you do all these sacrifices, etc., you must have full faith in God. Only then it will work. There are people who always ask, will the remedies work? How do you answer that question? The moment they ask, will the remedies work? What should you tell them? Anyone wants to attempt an answer?
If you have faith, it will work.
They do work, sir.
No, when people say that, I'll say, don't do it. Because already over, game over. They have a doubt, then it's not going to work. I know that. Then immediately say, no, sir, not like that. Do you want me to do? Are you sure? So I was thinking about charity. Karna is the best, the greatest giver of all times. At least from mythology, we know that. From Mahabharata. And yet what happens? So it's obvious that without God, the God side of, bringing in the God side, I think even charities may not work. You can't find any fault in any of this text. They have stood the test of time. So Krishna himself conspires to kill Karna. Okay. Again, we go back to the same thing as expectation of result. Should be performed. So the best way to look at the activities is, actually it is a loan. So you only come here to settle the loans, not get the fruits. That's the meaning of all this. It's a duty to do the remedies or do the good actions and do your duties. It is just that you have to do it. There is no other reason for it. You can't come up with any other angle to it. Simply you have to do it. Look at all the people who are working. They go 9 o'clock and then come back 9 to 5 job or whatever jobs. They go on and on with it. Whether they get the result or not, that's a different point. Here, Krishna also says that it's indeed impossible for all embodied beings to give up activities. All the activities. It is impossible. So, therefore, it is said that he who renounces the fruit of action is the one who has truly renounced. A beautiful way. This answers most of the questions about the 10th house. I met many people in my consultation where they said, I have renounced. And yet they came for consultation. Some of the questions will be, when will I buy a car? When will I get my house? All these normal questions. And yet they'll say, I have renounced. So the best way is to stop talking about it and continue to do your work in the best way possible and not be worried about whether you're getting the results or not. That itself is you can see the word tyagi there, the renouncer. When did you actually do tyagam or tyagi? When were you a tyagi? When did you do all the sacrifices? In which part of your life did you do sacrifices?
They have a Tirukural which says, Illaram polare nallaram andru. Those who get married and go through the life of dealing with children in a very unattached and uncontrolling way, perhaps do the same amount of exercise than going around and I can't speak it for myself because I haven't gone through raising children, but that's one of the poems in Tirukural, Illaram polare nallaram andru.
Okay, there's nothing as big as the householder's position, right? That's what it is.
Yes, because it's an endless chain of challenge to doubt and fear and all that, and still they need to endure through it.
Okay, good. So sacrifices are always there, right? So most of the time it is only like this. You don't have to be told, you can forget the fruits of action. Most of us are already doing it. But the best example for all the people in this world, at least for those who went to school and college, do you know what kind of a sacrifice that is? So ninth house is actually the house of sacrifice. That's why ninth lord in the 12th, what does Maharishi say about ninth lord in the 12th? Spend on auspicious activities. Okay. So what? When you should have actually played games and enjoyed the world, what were you doing? Studying. Why? Is it not the greatest sacrifice you already done? All of us studied. Every day we went to school and college. No income, nothing. You could have played every day from morning till night. And yet you didn't do it. So the ninth house is sum total of all the learning that we do. So here he says, whatever right or wrong action in a man is only performed by the body, the mind, the speech. Is caused by these 5 factors. The action, the performer, the senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. Okay. So at any point in time, only this is happening. There is an action, then you are the performer, then there are the senses, and the actual action itself, the endeavor, what you're trying for. And then all that is Sri Krishna as a charioteer. Whatever right or wrong a man performs by body, mind, and speech is caused by these 5 factors. Okay. My body, I or me, my 5 senses, my efforts, Icha Shakti, God, the super soul. 4 are known factors, 5th is unknown. This is from another chapter. Chapter number 18, 14, verse number 14. Adhishtanam tata. What happened to this slide? Here he talks about the 5 great elements: false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, objects, desires, hatred, happiness, distress, and aggregate, the life symptoms, and convictions. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interaction. So I think this should be connected to almost all the houses in your horoscope. All the mix of planets and maybe all the houses. All the various different experiences that we have. Sugam and Dukkam and all of that. So the Panchabhutas is of the material world, or what we say as the universe. The manifested is only 5 of them: fire, earth, air, water, and ether, or space. So in your horoscope, God is comparable to the Atma Karaka, or God is Lagna, or God is the sun. And God is the Atma Karaka, again, that's a repetition, or the super soul. So you'll see in the great yogis, the Atma Karaka reveals the maximum. In most horoscopes, Atma Karaka of yogis and saints is exalted or exalted in Navamsha. There is something very special about the Atma Karaka. So, and 9th house is Mahavishnu. Guru or true knowledge is the 9th house. The Bhagya of the soul or the lack of Bhagya is to be studied from the 9th house. If the Lord of the Lagna is in the 9th house, BPHS says Vishnu Bhakta. Instead of Vishnu, you can say God, faith in God. Okay, because people from other religion, whatever is their God, that is Vishnu. Or you can say Vishnu may be the truth. So in this chapter number 10, he compares that God energy with the superlatives of the great sages I am Bhrigu. Why did I include this is because in both Jaimini Sutras and Brihat Parashara Horashastra, you will find a lot of mention about gods. And some people believe that there's only one God. And so sometimes you get aligned with only one God and reject the other gods. But when you get into astrology, then there are these, the differences. And to prove that, in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna himself refers to other gods. And he says, even though we are all the same, yet we are different due to some reasons. So if you read this chapter number 10, you can see this, repeatedly being mentioned that, like, for example, he says, of Rudras, I am Lord Shiva, like that. So there are some paintings there where you see that Vishnu and then all the gods that we know of on both sides. I couldn't get that picture. I forgot to put it here. So that proves for those who suspect that there is only one God and all the others is not true. What do they call that? Polytheism. Okay. So which is something that I think mostly only Hindus have so many gods. All this has been accepted in Bhagavad Gita.
Guruji, the West also had many gods.
Is it? Okay.
Just that they removed them.
Oh, they removed them. Okay.
Constantinople, and they pushed on one agenda. Before that, you have Zeus, all that, Athena, Greek gods.
There were many gods. Okay.
And then Roman gods. It's actually similar, the Roman gods like Jupiter, Saturn, all of them are like the same as the other Navagrahas.
Okay. Yeah, they also had the planetary gods, correct. Anybody wants to try why of months I am Marga, what is that? Marga Sirsho, Margari in Tamil. Marga Sirso Ham. On the top you can see Masanam. In the month I am Margashira month. Why is that? Anybody wants to come up with an idea? Some logic? Why December? It
Because
so
sun
happens.
enters the house of Guru, the soul.
Fantastic.
The Atmakaraka enters.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Congratulations. Everything has some, meaning, symbolism, all of that. Okay. Spring is Vasanta Kalam, right? So, end of seasons, I am the flower bearing. Okay, it's just the superlatives of everything. So just read this chapter number 10 and you can see a lot of mention about other gods. Skanda has been mentioned. Muruga, one of the sons of Lord Shiva. So the three gunas that he spoke in the beginning, Guna Karma Vibhagasha, that one, Chaturvarnyam Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhagasha, that he's touching upon the guna type. Okay. So goodness, passion, and ignorance, which is actually Sattvam and Rajas and tama, tamasic, goodness, passion, and ignorance. These are the three broad divisions of the modes. Now, I think the mode and the karma mix creates all the differences, the patterns. It's not only karma, because same activity will be done by different people, but you won't get the same result. So there is something else to it. Same karma, but different. Because of the three modes. That which is done in goodness, then that in passion, and then the last one, ignorance.
Guruji, so the technique worked with, our Guru Sitaraman sir. He's in the class.
Yeah.
So I said about this Saturn 5 and 9, right? Now
Okay.
there's another rule to that, is that if any graha is conjunct with Saturn, we take that, as well as if any graha is like 12th from Saturn, we also take that in the Nadi. So Guna Sitaraman sir has Jupiter 12th from Saturn. That's why he is a professor, and he's also like a strategist.
Jupiter 12th from Saturn.
Yes.
Oh, so he became a professor. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
It has a combination like this: Sun and Mercury in Taurus, Saturn in Sagittarius, Jupiter in Scorpio. Jupiter is giving direct aspect to Sun and Mercury. And another rule that Sai said was 5th and 9th house from Saturn. In this case, 5th is Aries, although that is empty for me. That is sitting in the Kendra for me. Similarly, 9th house should be Leo, since even though it's empty, that moon is, the sun is acting. So the combinations that Sai Prahlad is saying is working. Like you say, if the house is empty, then look at the Lord where he is. That's
Correct.
the way I look at it.
That's a conventional way of looking at empty houses. Okay. Very good. So one day we'll do something on this. Okay, this topic that Prahlad introduced today.
Yeah, Guruji. I mean, I'll bring some charts. I'm just a little bit occupied.
Sure. That may explain why I did a lot of things, right? Because I have all the planets with Saturn.
Exactly, Guruji.
So look at these three, colors. Okay. So you can see now slightly different, right? We have a classification of karma types, and now it is based on guna. So they're not in the same type, or at least tamas we have, right? Mars but Saturn alone is there, but Mars was not in that set. Mars was in the Kshatriya set. So we can't really, see any logic here. But this has been described as these three grahas are always sattvic: Jupiter, Sun, and the Moon. So if you can mix this with the karma four circles, then you get different patterns. So keep this in mind. Again, tamasic, we can bring in Rahu, but Ketu, because it's a moksha karaka, maybe it is sattva, but nothing has been said clearly about it, so we have not included them. This is the one. Okay. Chapter number 10. Rudranam Shankaras. So of all the Rudras, I'm Lord Shiva.
Sir, the screen is not changing, sir.
Is it? How many of you see the same screen?
It changed.
It changed, Guruji.
Chapter 10, text 23.
Yeah, it changed.
Okay, good. Rudranam Sankaras, right? So here he says of Rudras, I am Lord Shiva, and so on. I included them just to say how important everything is as far as gods are concerned. If the gods are not real or manifested, Sri Krishna would not have mentioned about them. Okay, so we will take them as seriously. Here you can see the last line of generals, I am Skanda, the Lord of War, Mars. That's why when Mars sits in certain places, it almost hints at a warlike situation connected to those factors. If Mars is in the 7th, warlike situations in the house of marriage. Okay. We have, I think we're coming to the end of the discussion. One of the most popular, and incidentally, text number 8, verse number 8, chapter number 4:8. The Buddha's 4 noble truths and the eightfold path, 4:8. And this happens to be the very essence of everything. Paritranaya sadhunam. Okay. So, do we take it as Krishna comes only once in a while? Or there is no problem with adharma now for centuries after Sri Krishna left? Anybody wants to say something about it? Is he coming once in a yuga, or what is it about?
I mean, Guruji, so Krishna said that in this yuga, he's in the form of Bhagavatam. So if you have Bhagavatam, then, or if you're reading Bhagavatam and the stories, Krishna's, you can see Krishna manifest, but not in human form.
See, Sai Prahlad, the Kauravas did certain things, right? The Kauravas took land or tried to insult, disrobed Draupadi. And so Krishna uses all those, those incidents, and then even encourages the Pandavas to wage a war. Okay.
Guruji, one of the things they're saying is that these leelas, okay, the plays, the stories, it is for us, for the Kali Yuga, not necessarily for them or what happened there. Like the stories are for us to realize God rather than as an, because if you say Krishna was born in that yuga to stop adharma, that did not happen. Like after that period was over, then Kali came in and adharma started at a higher level. So
so do we say he is not born at all, which means there isn't enough that bad adharma like what Kauravas did?
This is
Guruji, if I may, include something that reminds me of one of the very, very popular share on social media, like Shri Krishna or the God is coming in each of the yuga. Why it is coming and how it is coming. The first war was between two different planes, maybe Asuras and Devas.
Yeah, that's what. See now. Wait a minute.
And now in this yuga, we are. Yeah.
So once in yuga is very long, many years. Okay. So when somebody rapes a child and kills a child, Krishna is not coming. When Hitler kills 6 million Jews, Krishna is not coming.
Guruji, supposedly 29 million Indians died by the British.
So even then Krishna is not. So even then Krishna is not coming.
Well, one would argue that Krishna was with Oppenheimer when we did the Manhattan Project. I mean, I don't take that role, but in fact, later on, he became a Hindu, Oppenheimer, who ran the Manhattan Project. So in some sense, he came and put an end to that disaster that could have prolonged even longer. Even though Krishna was born at the time of Mahabharata, he still let the war continue, and he only helped them to finish it.
Is this to be taken literally as the war thing, that I've come here to do this? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrita.
I was trying to finish the previous person's thread. Really, I think religion after religion, everywhere they keep saying, when I was in front of you, you didn't see me. That's the way they say, when I came in front of you as a poor person, giving you an opportunity to help me, you didn't see me. When I came in front of you, in front of a child, you didn't see me. Like that. I think God is coming all the time. It's just for those mindful ones who can see it, who can see an opportunity and a calling to do something that is being expressed in front of us. Those who are drawn into dissolution or desolateness, lack of optimism, they see negative things. Like in Tamil, we have this Marindavan Kannukku Irundadallam Pei. The one who is afraid sees in everything ghost. The one who is joyful sees in everything joy.
Good.
Guruji, there's one more thing I want to add here. See, there are two arrows. Okay, one is an arrow. Okay, I'll say the context first. The context is that Buddha was getting older. And so his disciples were saying, you talked about moksha, but you're getting older. You're also going to die. And we're also getting, we are following the path, but we're also getting older. So there was a misconception on understanding, let's say moksha, enlightenment, all that. So this is something I think the Buddha explained. So the way is, there are two arrows that is shot at you. The first arrow is something that you cannot control. It's like everything that Maya is going to throw. So whether it be war, whether it be disease, whether it be destruction or enemies, everything. The other arrow is the attitude that you understand this is Maya. So when I forgot his name, when this sage was having cancer, he said, he was smiling and laughing. Yes, the arrow was shot. He had cancer, but he was not affected by it. So the second arrow is the one that you can control. So if you realize, if you can realize Brahman, or if you can get enlightenment, moksha, then you're no longer affected by the worldly events.
Okay. Good.
So that's a deeper philosophical point here. So by reading, let's say, Gita, and if we can understand, when he says you're not really killing anybody, and then they're not necessarily dying, and all this, if you can bring all this up and get to that level, one can attain that freedom and moksha even in this Kali Yuga. And Veda Vyasa himself said that it is very easy to attain moksha in Kali Yuga compared to the previous yugas. But the problem is people will not, they have a very small attention span. So they won't be able to spend their attention on, on God or on moksha, on those things. Okay. The addiction is so much high.
So coming back to this question, when is this going to happen? That Sambhavami Yuge, where I'll come again and again.
I think it's happening to everybody at some level. It's just that, like Gunaji said, maybe we are not realizing when it is happening.
Can we say it's happening every second?
Yeah. Yes, Guruji. Yes.
So what it actually means is, by nature, if say, for example, Hitler starts the war trying to take over the world. And he starts killing civilians. You want to predict his future. How will you do it? No horoscope, nothing. Simply predict. Can anybody predict? If you go backwards in time and you start seeing him, he starts killing people, not soldiers, civilians, and mercilessly attacking everyone. So what is going to happen in the end? What do you think will happen?
He's going to be put into a similar situation in his next life.
No, forget all for next life and all that. Simple, straight away logics.
Yeah, his own ignorance did
No.
because
Let's
he
not
was
complicate
not
it.
listening to.
No, let's not complicate it. Simple. Somebody
He's
is
going to
like
end up in
this.
jail of good thought.
Somebody is like this. Forget all types of philosophies. Nothing. No religion, no philosophy, no God, no dharma, nothing. Simple. Somebody is like this.
What
Okay?
happened to him is going to happen at the end.
No, what will happen?
A strong
What will-
nation, another strong nation will defeat this nation or this guy ideas, sir.
Guruji, if you're talking about Hitler as a person committing all the crimes, he's definitely going to be caught by the police and given due punishment by the law of the state.
If like say in Chennai those days, now it's all reduced. There is a guy who keeps on, killing people. Then what happens? What will happen finally? Don't use a single line of philosophy and simply say what will happen in the end.
He will die mercilessly.
How do you make this statement? How do you make this statement? How do you know?
Whatever has been happening in the world has been in this line.
No, this is called automatic. Automatic.
You will get what you do.
No, that is what
he will have his own enemies.
Automatic.
The system will try to restore it, Guruji. The system will try to bring an equilibrium, a state of equilibrium.
What is that system?
So
what is the system? Is it a living thing or a non-living thing, which is making it?
It is a intelligent universal energy life force that is establishing dharma by itself.
Can we say that is Krishna?
We can say by any name that is above us, Guruji.
Or we can say it is Allah. Maybe we can say Father in heaven or Allah, somebody, right? There is something. Right. There is something which always does this. That is only this one. Paritranaya sadhuna. Okay. So please take it that way. So all the punishment that we go through in Dasha and Antardasha is simply Krishna coming as the Lord Shiva, the destroyer. Okay. So it's so easy to say this. You know what is the term for this? I've written it as the last line there. It's called poetic justice. Have you heard of this term, poetic justice? Can anybody attempt to describe what is poetic justice, even though the meaning is given beneath? But in your own words, anybody wants to say what is poetic justice?
It's something like, the killer, gets shot and gets killed in the same way.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, yeah.
You can't even write a story, a fiction in which the villain wins. So difficult. You just can't even write a story. So even in the story, Krishna will come. Or the God energy, where we struggle to give a name to it. Somebody said automatic. Automatically you will write that the hero will win and the villain will be punished. That is the existence of this. That it is nature that will always do it again and again. You can be very sure. There was a guy here in our, suburbs. He kept killing people. Then suddenly he changed. He became all right. He stopped. Became a good man. But somebody from the past 3 or 4 people came and said, great wise man, there is a small problem going on in this place, in this village. because of your knowledge and your greatness and your magnanimous nature. If you come there, you can solve the problem quite easily because you're an expert in all these things. So they took him and killed him off there. How does this happen? It happens always. It happens automatically. That automatic is this Krishna's being born again and again. So we thought it is from yuga to yuga. He takes such a long holiday. If justice is delayed, we call it injustice. So God cannot be like that. So there is a natural system in this world which will always punish the wrong. I make a wrong move in the board. Next second, the guy finishes me off. That's it. Game over. Who does that? It's automatic. You take your eyes off like this, gone. You made a mistake, you're punished. So all that you see in the Dasha Adhyaya about the good and bad that people go through is only the appearance of this natural force for whatever was done in the past. It will come back again and again to re-establish the dharma. It will always be. It's a rule. That's the reason why it is so difficult for you to write a story where the villain will win. You just have to write the villain is winning and the hero dies. Once in a while you will come across. Even in that, the villain will be killed by the time the movie is over. Maybe if you refer to Sholay, where Amitabh Bachchan dies, so what? The villain is still killed.
Otherwise, they will say the story is not, the end is not it.
You know why? That's nature. That is universe. It will finish them off. Even if you don't finish them off, I mean, let's say the director is not doing it in the movie, you know what? You will anyway work it out in your mind and say, definitely is gone. Even if they don't show that end.
Guruji, a great story on villain almost winning is the Star Wars one, where Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, the reason is they're expecting more parts. And you can't keep quiet. They will come up with one more part and finish him off.
And they will do that.
Yeah, when they don't kill the villain, you can easily guess there is part 2 coming. So simple. Okay. So this dharma samsthapanarthaya, I was thinking, oh, so there's no dharma at all now. So Krishna is not coming. When I was young, I used to argue with the people who know Bhagavad Gita. And they never had any good answer because they don't use their head. The real answer is it is happening every time somebody goes to jail. Something is happening to people. I think in US, a lot of series of videos, instant karma. You do this and then something else happens to you there. Instant. It doesn't wait. Okay, so this is basically the law of karma. Again, when you go back to our way of looking at it, why did he lose all this money? Something that was done in the past. I know of men who had thousands of crores have come to zero, and I've also seen the opposite. I mean, just a way of referring. It's not that money is the big thing. So there were several ways of looking at it. Okay. Fine. Again, this is something that we always show. So ultimately, it is only your karma. You are the boss and God is not, at least in your life. Whatever is happening to your life is mostly done by you. Though God created everything, He gave you the earth, He gave you the oxygen, He gave you water, He gave you everything, the sun, everything. And yet, we are not playing the game in the same way. So a child is born on that day and at that hour when the celestial rays are in mathematical harmony with his individual karma. Who created it? the soul, it's the being itself, that person himself creates it. Okay. This is taken from the autobiography of a yogi by Sri Paramamsa Yogananda. With that, we come to an end of today's discussion. How many people made it today?
That's a very nice explanation, Guruji. I mean, I never thought about that. That's very nice. I need to ponder more.
Which one?
The one that you said, like how Krishna is everywhere, every second, where things are automatically, the scores are being settled.
It's always that it's by nature. Why can't it be the opposite side? It never happens. Somehow it is being reset again and again and again. Somebody comes and does a lot of atrocity, he'll be defeated in election automatically. The moment you know he has done beyond the limits, you can simply, without horoscope, you can say he's gone. But you will have other ways of explaining it. You will say, no, it's not because of any of these things. It is just because people got angry. So the sum total of all the anger of people will be the representation of God, the God energy, which is being born again and again. Okay. So, for years, people have been talking about doomsday. It's all over. The world is coming to an end. None of those things are ever going to happen. Just in time, we'll all be saved. As a humanity, as a whole, something will happen and people will be alerted naturally. They'll get scared. Oh, no, we shouldn't do that. All these thoughts are coming from that God consciousness that is appearing again and again and making it all right. It goes on and on. It will rectify itself automatically. Okay. Sometimes God, 1 minute, Kishore. Sometimes God, works in mysterious ways. There is a story of a lady who dreamt of the murderer. Have you heard of that story? A serial killer. She dreamt. What did she see in the dream? She saw the man coming to a building. And in the dream, she tells herself, this is the man who's killing so many girls. And this man comes in a particular van that has white color. It's a white van with a maple leaf on it. And she somehow goes to the police station and tells, but they take her seriously because anyway, they are also not finding the criminal, the murderer. So they said, okay, we'll take a chance. They got artists and they drew the entire, that things that she saw. This is the house. And they started looking for a matching house. And they actually found out one. And then they said, we'll keep policemen here waiting. But this man actually stole a blue van the previous day. He took it to his garage and looked at all the different color options he had. He took white and painted it white. Then he started scratching his head, it seems. Then what to paint on it? It can't be blank, right? It will be suspicious. Then the idea comes, let me paint a maple leaf. Which dress, which hat, all this has been seen in the dream by the lady. And then this guy comes, he has been stalking this lady. And they wait because he'll always escape. So they wanted evidence. So they allowed him to go into the room where he was about to strangle the girl with a nylon something. And as he started to attempt to, squeeze, they broke open the door and arrested him. Now, there are hundreds of stories like this, actually. So many things that people have seen before and alerted. And people are doing it all the time. Like weather forecasting, maybe astrological predictions, something or the other. So this God energy is working all the time. So when the COVID came, what did you think? Humanity will be wiped off? No, you can simply say, no, it will come to an end. Not humanity. No need for any horoscope. If you see a serial killer on the prowl, you simply make just say, I got some Prashna reading and say he'll be soon arrested. It'll happen. It'll always happen. So this is the meaning of that I'll be born again and again. Okay. So what are the parallels that we saw? That we are born again and again. So that is the basis for astrology. And we connected it to the gunas, everything. I think if you're more interested more on this, you should start reading Srimad Bhagavatam. A lot of planetary positions have been discussed there. Has anybody read this book? Maybe once we will. I know a person somewhere in South America who has been doing research on this. Maybe one day I'll ask her to speak about it. She has collected a lot of details. Okay. Any doubt?
Guruji, I wanted to.
Yes.
The actual cuts.
Guruji, I wanted to talk about that first slide of yours when you opened up the Zoom meeting today.
Okay.
That first slide, there was an important element which really came up throughout the session, but it was not mentioned as a direct observation.
Okay.
When you look at the first slide where you had two photographs, the one where Lord
Arjuna
Krishna
is kneeling down.
And the second one is where he's on a chariot.
Yes.
The one biggest entity that was not seen there was the mighty time. So which means that the right guidance at the right time and the right action at the right time. So this is pertaining to astrology also.
Correct. So when you talk about results, why is it coming now and not some other time, or now it's not happening?
Yes.
So all of this can be said.
So the ninth house you said was the guidance system.
Guidance system. Correct.
Because that is owned by Guru.
Exactly. It's somewhat predictable only, no? Suppose somebody joins school, it's so predictable. When will he pass out of college? Roughly the age. It's all predictable. And then at this rate, the student will reach there. That is also predictable.
Yes.
Right?
And even
to a large extent, it is predictable.
Even in the Ashtaka Varga also, we connect the 9, 10 and 11. And we say 9 leads to 10, 10 leads to 11. And if the graph is going upwards, it means the life is good for the native. That means from 9, the 10 is derived. And from 10, 11 is derived.
Exactly.
So
because there is an objective. The problem with us when we look at that karmanyava eva dikaraste mafaleshu, that is, do not lay claims over the fruits. Many people got confused. Just don't think of the fruits, not think of the fruits. There is always an aim. There is an objective. But the point is, you should be mentally prepared. Sometimes you may not get the fruit also. That's all. It's not that you're not thinking. There is an aim that Arjuna wants, or Arjuna is designated. So Krishna is asking him to kill everyone there. So it's already, there is an aim. There is a fruit. Okay. But he's saying it will take time. And the war lasted for how many days? It's not a one-day war, right? It will take time because there are so many obstacles. You got to clear one by one. First, you have to, do away with Bhishma. Then, he was the greatest warrior. So one by one, so much of effort in between, a lot of losses. It comes with many sacrifices. So it's not so easy.
Not at all. They're killing their own family members and all that.
Yes.
Being also the, Bhishma being such a big person.
Yeah. So what is this about is when it is your own family member or whatever it is, whether if they're doing wrong, they'll be punished right in front of you. You cannot stop that. You understand? Today, I met a person who is saying something about his own family member. This guy did, and some mistakes happened and being punished. What do? You look at them. That's all. You can't do anything else. It's almost that the Mahabharata scene always comes again and again in our lives. It's not, most of, if you look at your lives or your relatives' life or friends' life, so many varieties of events. Mother as the main problem in life. Father as the main problem in life. Child as the main problem in life. What is it? The same Mahabharata scene. It doesn't matter. If they are related to you, they are still wrong. And they will be punished for the errors. So I think As somebody said, it's not about that. It's not that, okay, why should we read something about, an event that happened roughly 5,000 years ago? Now they're trying to do the dating when Mahabharata actually happened using some, this pole stars and all that. Somewhat it is tallying with that 3000 BC something. So it happened. For sure it happened. But why do we read about all this and look at Bhagavad Gita? Why do we all break our head on it today? Is because this is the same thing forever. It doesn't change. Like I used to say when you say everybody should have equal, everybody should be equal. I said in nature it is not there. It's not equal. That is the law. Sometimes we feel so sad when a lion kills a deer. Have you seen it in the video? Somebody is taking the actual video. In the comments, why the hell don't you go and save the deer? Why are you filming the entire thing? Why don't you somehow save the deer? I'm just using some, maybe it's a cheetah or something where you can, drive it off with noise. Why are you watching it? What will be your answer?
When the tiger or lion will die.
The tiger or lion will die. So which one do you want to save? This is the problem. Now you'll have to say, this is the way of nature. And see the beauty of nature. In spite of all this, the deer is there, the lion is there all the time. Have you ever thought about that? One by one, they're killed, but the lion is there. The tiger is also there. So what's your problem? You want to save this deer? No, there will be another deer very soon. And there will be another lion also. This is what he is explaining when he says, if you kill them or not, anyway, they're dead. Suppose you say death is the end of everything, kill them, so what? Nothing else is there. Suppose you say they'll be born again, then also kill them, they'll be reborn. Either way, it's the same, because according to you, if they don't have a rebirth, all of us are going to die anyway. You're just speeding up the process, like something like mercy killing. Whichever way you look at it, Sri Krishna says, the same event. But here, please don't mix up this killing with violence. This is for dharma. Dharma and adharma. So, when a judge sentences a person to 10 years imprisonment for a murder or something, is the judge a bad man? Will you say that? Okay. In the context, you will say how bad. Ask the judge not to do that. But just imagine one of your blood relative was murdered by that person. What would you want? Not just 10 years imprisonment. You want him killed. So it'll all be relative. So it's very difficult to look at the deer and still say, it's actually sad. That's how life is. But you can't do anything about it. Because one of them will have to die. Okay. But the best part of it is God is so kind that there is still the deer and still the lion all the time. Have you ever thought about that? Next day again, you can see the same, it's not the same lion, but in the movie, you will see a lion chasing a deer. And the next day also, you will see the same thing. Unless we human beings kill all the lions or all the tigers. Even that is not happening because somehow in the last minute, people have been alerted. No, stop killing. Don't touch that. We want to save them. Conservation. Now they're doing just the opposite. It's like human beings first set up windows to let the light come in and immediately order for what? Anybody?
Curtains.
Curtains. To close it. That's nature. You can't do anything with that. Okay. Fine. So we will end here. I don't know how many of you typed out in the chat.
Guruji, one question. So, who is behind Saturn in terms of degrees
Where?
in your chart?
Behind Saturn.
Like Saturn is at what degree, and what are the grahas behind Saturn?
Mars is Dharakaraka. Mars is the lowest one.
What degree is it Saturn at?
Saturn must be somewhere around 10 degrees, I think.
Okay, Jupiter?
Jupiter is far ahead. It has gone to Navamsha exaltation. So it must be close to 19 degrees or something.
Okay. Thanks.
See, it will be difficult in my case because I did a lot of things, totally unrelated things. So it will be difficult.
No, Guruji, the rule still works because any graha that's conjunct with Saturn or sitting in the same Rashi, you can also take that as a where you will do the karma.
Yeah.
So it's already happened in your case. But
as a joke, I'll tell you, when I was in my college, sitting in one of my father's business, palmist who was on the roadside, he came and said, "Can I look into your palm?" I just said, "Okay, fine, why not?" He touched my palm and said, "You are dealing with iron. Your business is with iron." Anybody wants to guess why?
Saturn.
No.
You were in the gym, Guruji.
Amatya Karaka, sir.
You see, it's so difficult. So
You are weightlifting now, Guruji.
Yeah, so my hand was so rough, okay, with all the weights. So he thought I was actually moving iron things here and there in a business. Okay. He didn't know who I was. I was just sitting there. So he touched my hand and said immediately, by looking at the lines in the palm, he said, "You are in the business of dealing with iron bars and things, but actually lifting weights." Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to joke, okay, about a palmist. I'm just saying I did just a lot of things. So that explains, at least by all the planets all together in one house, what it does. It's quite a different life I had. Very different. Okay. It may not, it will definitely more of the unique type because of all this conjunction. Just think about me, 5 years studying botany, just plants. Now I have nothing to do with it. I don't know a single plant today. I don't know the name of a single flower, except maybe a rose or something. But there was a time when I knew almost everything. I'll even tell you, the species, the genus, the family, this, that, because we had to do all that in MSc, Master of Science. Weightlifting. What did I do? Why did I do that? But one thing I did common was all the time I was reading philosophy. All the time. That one thing I was doing on the background. I was always a philosopher. So I'll talk very differently to people. So all kinds of friendship, different people from different walks of life. And when I became a consultant, I've consulted for murderers, I've consulted for the top police officers at the same time. Meaning, not in the same date and time, but in one lifetime I've done that. So I just can't understand why all this is happening. Okay.
Guruji, one day you have to tell us about those impressionable clients, the murderers. And we would love to hear from you. It's not often we come across.
Yeah. Anyway, how was this session today? I rarely ask for feedback.
Very calm.
Huh?
Very calm.
We need
Guruji,
more of them,
on a lighter note, Guruji, if you remember, you showed us a slide which has those 4 caste systems, or the Kshatriya and all those. And then you said, and then Sai immediately asked you about your chart, and you said you have all the planets there in the Lagna. At that time, that chart was seen, and in the center, I could see EKDK. You understand what I'm trying to tell, Guruji?
Okay, okay, that logo. Okay.
That logo was in the center, and all those four varnas were there,
Hmm.
and all the grahas where you gave Saturn, Rahu, Ketu outside Saturn, that slide. And that was the time when Sai asked you, and you said my chart will be confusing because all the planets will be in the Lagna. And that slide was there at that time. And I was about to type, I could only see EKDK in the center. I could not see any other thing. So that means you have been doing all these things.
Okay.
Right?
This
Anyway.
particular topic, sir, like it has so much of depth, and we can have like at least several sessions. It's not like easy to conclude like in one single session, sir. Even though like we have covered so much.
All this, when you contemplate on these things, you should look at, you should have a good observation to look at everything from a different perspective. Okay. You must read my blog long time back. I don't know. I don't even remember what the topic is. I mean, the title was the right angle of everything, something like that. I've spoken about it. The problem of being inside a karma I mean, you are inside that. Right now, you are inside your body and your situations, your karma, how you think and how I think. They're all different. How Prahlad is thinking about the world. So when he looks at a cow, suddenly something happens to him and says, no, I must take care of it. When, you look at people, why they have certain, thoughts running in their mind. So there is something to dwell upon and research and, think about it. You just can't take it lightly. You have to give importance to everything that you see. And the most important thing is you shouldn't take anything for granted. So what? It should be like this. No, you got to think. Like when somebody said, it is automatically happening. What? The poetic justice is automatically happening. Then the next question is there a human being who's doing it? Is there a conscious being who's actually making it? What do you mean by automatic? When the villain is always punished automatically, it will happen. The mistakes are punished in any event, even if you don't know the answer in a quiz question like Kaun Banega Crorepati, gone. That much money you lost. You got to think about everything, give a lot of weightage to it, and spend some time for yourself. And you must really think about your next life. It's real. It's not a joke. With all these lectures about na jayate mriyate va kadachanaya, it is never born. It is never going to die. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. All of this is forever. This information is forever. That there is something called the future. There is something called the heavenly existence. There is a hellish experience possible in front of us. Which path are you going to take? This is the most important knowledge that one can have. Every other knowledge is actually useless. Because this is the only reality. That's why people have been, like so many gods, so many yogis, Jesus Christ and, Paramahamsa Yogananda or Buddha, all these great people have come repeatedly and said the same thing. No change. But they just change. I mean, maybe there are some changes, but they will almost say the same thing over and over again. Buddha never spoke about gods, but so what? He spoke about the method. It doesn't matter because already we are suspicious whether God is there or not. So if you change this, you will say then automatic. How? It's all automatically happening. Evolution. Have you ever thought about it? Why is evolution always going only in this direction? We were like apes. Now we are looking better. How? Automatic. Just say automatic. Nothing is doing it. So it's very important that we don't dismiss of things like automatic. There is a reason. There is a conscious something that is happening. Maybe when the soul is desiring, you keep looking at the mirror and you want to look better and better. The next generation, we are going to get better and better. We are not looking like apes anymore. Even if you say that is evolution. And what is evolution? Always going to the better. Why? That is dharma. That is nature. It will become better. It will not become worse. Have you ever thought about it? Why does it go worse? It can go in that direction also, right? It's not going to the... So survival of the fittest. To be fit, and then it survives. No. Even if it is not fit also, it is surviving. You have to think about that. Which is fit? The snake is fit or the frog is fit? Both are fit. So it's not survival of the fittest. It's just that there is in nature that things will get better and better automatically. Evolution. We are getting better and better. That's why we are having troubles trying to say, no, Kali Yuga is better than before, because it's simply getting better. It has to become better. Now it's easy for us to get salvation. That's what Prahlad said in Kali Yuga.
That's what Veda Vyasa said, Guruji.
No, it's okay. Whoever says, you know why? Later it will always get better only. You read Bible, New Testament, Ecclesiastes chapter. Again, the same thing told. In the end, what will happen? All of us will get salvation. Beautiful lines. There is a time to do this. There is a time to be born. There is a time to die. Continuously, lines after line. There is a time for this. There is a time for this. So whatever, wherever you are born, in whichever faith you are, you will think about this God and what's happening in life. What happens after we pass away? Where are we going? Nobody can stop thinking about it. So this is a great knowledge. But there is other knowledge that you got to study physics, you got to study chemistry and all that. That is for the sake of duty and karma. That's also good. But at the back of the mind, there should be dharma in it, and you should try your best to make the world a better place. What is the objective of Sri Krishna in the war? One word. What is the objective?
Dharma sthapana, sir, you say.
Yeah. But it's also lokashema, to make the world a better place. That's all. It is that the world has to be a better place is what's actually happening behind. Somehow it is happening. Always things are getting better and better. Please watch, this video. What is that song? A Wonderful World. Louis Armstrong. Have you heard this? The song? So he says, what a wonderful world. Louis Armstrong, correct? It's got 47 million views.
Web hosting needs may be, we got you covered. Perhaps you're just starting out with the basic web hosting. Streets of green. I see them blue for me and you, and I think to myself,
are you able to see this?
what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed days, dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow
What he says in essence is, a lot of bad things are happening in this world. Okay. But I want to ignore them. I look at the nice things. What a beautiful world. So he starts describing the world. That's the best we can do. Whatever bad is happening here. I mean, this guy has gone through so much of sorrow in his life. And yet he says there's no complaint. It's all right. Because the world is still enjoyable. What a nice place. What a nice thing, situation. Something like that. It's a beautiful song. Of course, 47 million views is still low only when compared to some songs which run into, countless million views. Fine. So shall we end?
Guruji, we started this discussion in Punarvasu Nakshatra, Guru Nakshatra, and now we are running Pushya Nakshatra. Dharma and Karma.
Oh, wow. That's a nice way of, you ended it so well. 9 and 10, again, you got it connected. This is called synchronicity. It always happens. Okay. But please understand, in spite of all this so-called, this Maya and all this, whatever we may talk about this world, look at the Dasha and Antardasha, you'll be surprised. Long time I wrote an article, Ketu Dasha, oh my God, in which I said the mistakes will be done in the last portion of Buddha. Today also a man came and said exactly the events happened like that. Okay, so...
Spot on, Guruji, spot on.
Yeah. So it is very important that this is not a joke. There is this time, there is this planets, there is this gods, everything is true. Only thing is we are not able to understand it. And then we say, no, I want to look at it like this. Okay. I always say, well, how is it possible? So accurate. So, sometimes it is, mind-blowing when you look at the accuracy. Okay. So the highest suicides happened in the last part of Ketu. How is it? Is it not a pattern? And in many cases, I was not able to stop it in spite of my counseling. It still happened. So I used to say that Bhagavad Gita is the best philosophical book that you have today. It's covered almost everything, literally. What type you are. And when you mix up astrology with it, you get a lot.
To withstand the difficulties, to understand.
What?
To withstand the difficulties of life and to understand life overall.
Yeah. So then by looking at astrology also, you can develop your own philosophies. Okay. You can also develop your philosophies about life. So the Lord's house is in different houses. When you see something bad, along with it, anger, right? A bad person, something bad, all of them comes as a package. So easily you can understand that this is something to do with some bad traits in this person in the past life. And Buddha also kept saying, it will stick on to the next life, what they call vasanas. So it's all based upon that. So enmity with family members, then he says lustful, then hard-hearted. I'm just reading from, bad health, high expenses, Krodhi, Lagna Lord in the 12th. Can you see some connection? Okay. Second Lord in the 7th, adultery, spouse also adulterous. So where is it all coming from? It's all coming from past lives. So please take it seriously. Now that we have entered Saturn Nakshatra. When did it start? Pushya? Okay.
8:35 we started Pushya.
Okay. Transition from Punarasu to Pushya. Anyway, it is in the... A nice Saturn aspecting moon, right? Today.
Yes, Guruji.
So much philosophy because of that. So when I saw that Paritranaya Sadhunam, I was, stunned. 8th sloka, 4th chapter. Oh my God, this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The most popular line from Bhagavad Gita. Thanks to the Mahabharata series.
Sir, even sir, in Germany, this 8th of December, for the whole Germany, trained the citizens for the warning, the sirens, sir. They put they took that 8th of December.
Okay.
Date to alarm whether citizens will be alarmed or not. Whether they just to train them.
Okay.
A new system
all the they will say our work office. If we don't have any work, we should go there and we should say, I don't have any work to do. Please guide me. And in Munich, the house number is 26, sir. 26.
Okay.
8.
Oh, okay.
It will match.
I see.
Most of the time.
Anand Shiva wants to say something.
Sorry, no, I was just supporting Pavani again. Hi, Pavani.
You're also in Germany.
Yes. So from another city, Frankfurt.
Okay, Frankfurt. Okay.
Exactly. So it was a new system to inform the people in case of a disaster. They send a kind of a message to all the mobile devices.
I see.
So even if it is on aeroplane mode, you should get a message. That kind of a. I'm not exactly correct, but something like this. So they want to inform everybody that in case of an emergency, that you have to move out or you have to switch off the lights, or if you have to. It's kind of a early warning system. Yeah. So that was a test. So Saturn, I was also smiling when the date came, 8th of December.
Saturn is the planet for mass destruction.
Yes, exactly.
And also pandemic, okay? Or epidemic or whatever. A large scale, and usually disasters are mostly connected to Saturn. How many of you, I'm sure some of you must have read my article on fascinating number 8.
Yes. Also the video.
Yeah. In the video, I don't think I've done some justice, but in this article, you can see, I started noticing these patterns. And I think there are about 40 earthquakes which happened on 8/17/26, which killed lakhs of people at one time. Okay. So, you can't dismiss it off as a coincidence. Like when they're saying, that Pushya Nakshatra started. Okay. So it's surely.
Guruji, so what is your karna like in the birth panchanga?
Oh my God, I don't remember that much.
Because if it's like Vishti karna, right, then I think that's number 8. So those people are very much attracted to number 8.
No, for me, it's not about that. If you add my date of birth, 25 January 1962, you will get 8. And anyway, all this conjunction is happening in Saturn's place. So I think by nature, I am dominated by 8. Most of the time in my school days, my roll number was 8. It went back and forth, but most of the time it was 8. And that was when I was going through Sade Sati, 7.5 years Saturn. But after that, I left school and there was no roll numbers after that. Okay. But all this happens when you start wondering at things and looking at things. So therefore, then your memory comes, you're impressed and wow, what a fantastic thing.
So Guruji, a question here. I'm also very much attracted to number 8. And I was born on 26th. I got married on similar 26th date. And many things happened with this 8th thing. Even my mother was born on 8th December. She has an exalted Saturn. I have a Kumbha Saturn. But anyway, the point is, for us, where Saturn is good, for a native where Saturn is good, like does it give good results or not necessarily same? Like it will still give the same bad results.
No, it gives good results. But depending upon the lagna, sometimes it will be mixed. But once it is designated as Yoga Karaka, it will only do good, and the good will happen for those people. Like for example, for Narendra Modi ji, it is a favorable number because he is Tula Lagna. Though people did have some opinion that he could be Vrishchika Lagna border, but they are now very sure it is Tula Lagna. Okay. Anyway, good. Finally, we have come to the end of today's meeting. We hope we'll have something similar like this. Guna Sitaraman says, great satsang. Okay. Dharmam Talaikakum. Oh, somebody typed that. In Tamil Nadu, dharma means giving money to others. Normal way of looking at it. Actually, when you say dharmam, it is not that. Dharma means the right, the truth will always win. Again, poetic justice. Okay.
No, Guruji, that was typed when we were discussing about how without dharma, you might make many mistakes in your during that time when the discussion was on. Somehow it just struck me.
Sampath, confused mind, first picture. How many of you feel it is confused mind? That picture. I mean, at that stage, is it confused mind? How many will say it's confused mind? Clarity in second picture.
No, sir.
Sampath says, I don't know whether Sampath is still on in the meeting.
I do understand like why he said like confused, because either to do the participate in the war or not, sir. But he is clear about like to whom he needs to do the Saranagati. So
when you do Saranagati, are you confused?
No, sir. No.
At that point, you're not confused, right? You made a decision.
Yes, sir.
To learn, and that's not confusion. Confusion is when you are thinking whether to learn or not.
Right, sir.
What is the difference between confusion and conflict? Is it a major difference, Guruji?
Conflict is actually directly involved in a fight-like situation. Confusion,
no, conflict in the mind, I'm saying. He was in a state of conflict in his mind, whether to follow the path or to drop everything and become an ascetic.
No, that is almost the same, confusion and conflict in the mind, if you say. Okay. So there was an initial confusion, and then he decides, I mean, I have this person to whom I listen and find out. So that situation will always come. So in times of difficulty, when you can't find the truth, when you can't, you will eventually land up. For example, when I was rotating this Rubik's Cube for 2 years, it is finding a person, right? It's automatically finding a person. Because one guy in chemistry class is looking at me and then he says, come, I want to talk to you. I always see you're turning this continuously in class. I said, so what? No, I know how to solve it. I'll teach you. I said, no, you can't, because I'm superior to you. I have a lot of intelligence and you don't appear so intelligent. So I refused the knowledge. And then I kept on struggling, So on the third attempt, I said, okay, I'll learn. I'll come to your place. He was in the hostel. George Cherian. So I go there. And within a short time, I come out of his room knowing the answer. Now it's like, I don't have to see the cube at all. I mean, I'll glance it once in a while, but after that, I won't see it. I can do it like this, I can talk to you. I'm not even looking at the cube. Once I look and again, it'll all be in the mind. But without a teacher, without looking into a material of solution, you turn it for 1 million years. You will never get even once. You can't. So, or there must be some way of noting down things photographing and noting down, and then you say, I turned like this happened. Then after this, I turned. Something so systematic you have to do by yourself. Only then you can do. Otherwise, if you just by sight, if you keep doing this. So there are many activities which we are doing for countless births, trying again and again. And we have not reached perfection. So once in a while, we get an opportunity for a teacher. And then things change. Once in a while. And sometimes when you go to the extremes also, it attracts a teacher. Like in this case, 2 years of stupidity, ignorance, it attracts a teacher. Or so much of trouble in life, you get attracted to astrology. You want to find out why. Okay. So when people get into astrology in Ketu Dasha, I always seen that it is because of the trouble that they're going through. But when they get into in Jupiter's period, first time, it's not due to trouble. It is about, oh, there's something to learn.
Sir,
So
maybe Rahu just ended and they attracted to astrology.
You want to know why Rahu was so troublesome and then they got into, okay, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like that. No, but sometimes it's not always only investigation of the suffering that leads to knowledge. Okay. It need not be. Sometimes inquisitiveness, just, I want to know. Like that, people have got into astrology. Okay. Just curiosity also possible. Oh, somebody typed equality is a myth. If 8 people run 100 meters, who will win? All of them? So it's not possible. Simply, the nature of things will let only one person win and the rest will lose. Nice. I think enough. It's getting late. All of you must have a reason why you stay, till the very end. B.N. Rao, Sai Prahlad, Kishore, Gautam, such an young boy.
Good one, Guruji. Since you're talking
Renuka.
about since you're talking about the number 8, 8th chapter has some very interesting shlokas. You should
Which one?
look at it. The chapter 8 in Gita.
No, wait, I can't really understand what you're saying.
So since you're talking about the number 8.
Okay.
Importance of number 8 and Saturn. The 8th chapter in the Gita.
Oh.
Some interesting shlokas. You didn't mention any of them.
Okay.
So I thought of
Okay.
because you're talking about the number 8.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Shlokas 5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
He gives a very easy solution for moksha. The highest of the 12th house.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, they are very interesting ones. And also in the same chapter, 13, 14, 15, and 16, those 4 also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It looks an easy solution, but very difficult to follow. So he says,
attaining, I'm on acidis.com, attaining the supreme.
Yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tameva iti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Whatever you think of when you are leaving the body, that is what you are going to get. So then he goes on to say, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. So you always remember me, and also during your fight also. Remember me.
Very good.
Yeah. That's a chapter 8.
Yeah. Attaining the supreme.
Yeah. Akshara Brahma Yoga. Yeah.
Yeah, I just summarized it in between. Like you will go to that mother and all that. I kind of touched upon it, I think, but I didn't prepare using anything
you
from
were just
chapter 8.
Talking about the importance of 8.
Okay,
Chapter 8 is a very important one.
Krishna has so much 8, he was the 8th born. He was born in 8th Tithi and so on.
I don't know, I feel the 8th chapter is it's like my favorite chapter, that is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice. Nice.
It was a very good session, sir. Thank you.
It won't have the same effect on everyone. Okay. It all depends on the state of evolution, the situation where we are. Only those who have reached a certain point will be interested in such things. Okay. So I'm not saying that those who left aren't interested because they might have some time problem. But whoever attended today's session, I don't know how many attended in the beginning. I didn't even look at it.
32, Guruji. Max was 32.
Oh, max 32. Okay. So, well, I feel that this knowledge is superior to the knowledge of astrology, but astrology helps us to get a more serious view of life because it's not happening without any rhyme and reason. It is happening based on some plan. Some structure is there. A predictable something is there in our lives. Astrology proves that. But after that, sometimes you will have to even give up on astrology, saying that there are bigger things in life than finding out when you will buy a car or when you will a house come, or when you will get married and so on. So obviously, this is the most superior knowledge in the Vedas. The rest is helping us in that process. Anyway, we had a nice session. I should thank all of you for, as I teach you, something in me also is changing. Okay. Do you believe in that? When you teach, something in you is also changing.
I told this in the last class, Guruji. You said you will mention it in the Patreon class. About Hindi, remember, Guruji?
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. So, the latest, the last month when I was, I'm now playing snooker, and I started teaching others, and then I actually started getting better. Right? So it'll happen automatically. So a guru is rewarded like that. The teaching is rewarded like that. A dharmic action is always rewarded like that. Okay?
I feel you're donating your time, Guruji, because you took time to learn something and that you're donating. And time is money and much bigger than money, because money can be earned, but time can't be earned. So you're donating that knowledge which you accumulated by spending your time. So for example, a coach, when they're teaching something, they are sharing that wisdom that they gained from experience. So that is the biggest type of donation, I would think.
See, that is also a kind of a payback to my gurus, right? If people ask me who's your guru, I say I didn't have a guru until I learned enough astrology, and then I met Sheshadrinath Shastri here. But if I say I have no gurus, it's actually false. Because when I read a book, I'm still listening to the guru. I'm learning from the guru. So what I learned from a guru, I must pass it on. This is also the same logic of dharma. It will happen automatically. I can't keep quiet. If you rotate a Rubik's cube next to me, I cannot keep quiet. I'll say, wait, I'll teach you how to do it. Can any one of you stop telling people if they're making a mistake and you know the answer? Will you be able to keep quiet standing next to them? You won't be. It's impossible. By nature, you will be driven to give the solution to the other person. It's just the God consciousness in us which will make us do that automatically. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Fine.
Thank you, Guruji. We should have done something good in our previous births to have satsang like this.
We need to label it as satsang, Guruji. I'm missing that satsang word.
Okay. Just one more word, but the content remains the same, right?
Yes, Guruji.
So like we say a rose by any other name, same logic.
It's still a rose.
Yeah. So that's why I can look at it from another point of view, from the other person, like you can get into the other person's shoes. So when a Muslim friend is sending me Ganesh Chaturthi greetings, I just can't understand, is there a problem with religion in this world? Are we making it up? Are we not making it up? There's nothing. Somebody is making it up, of course. Some people are making use of it to create divisions, but otherwise there is no such thing. There's no such thing at all. And when I'm talking about astrology, a Christian or a Muslim in any place, they'll always ask more questions. Like I tell them answers. I know that their faith does not actually permit them to, dwell into all these things, but still I'll say, I mean, we are one world. We are all one particular something. We are all one family. Now, slowly people are realizing this. Thank God. So as we move, as we go through time, I think there will be more happiness only. So always think the future is good. Okay. No matter what happens. Even if you think, after our death, again, we are going to be born in this world only. And it'll be a better place. And we must leave behind something that will make it a better place. By nature, we will know that. I was thinking about all this, the future, global warming, conservation of life, make sure that the earth is better. If you're going to die and you're not going to exist, why are you bothered? Then it's easy to understand. Subconsciously, you will come back again to the same place. So you better keep the world all right. That thought will come to us naturally.
Descendants will be here, sir.
No, forget that. Okay, you're saying descendants, but after your death, why are you bothered about where your descendants are? What has that got to do with you? Right?
At present, I'm here.
Yeah. So you will also see, just look into your horoscopes, if your children and you, your lagna, their moon sign, their moon, something to do with, like all mixed up it will be. Planetary positions repeat. So perfectly it will repeat. It's not some, random things happening in this world. Just study and compare all your relatives' chart. I mean, especially your own, the actual family, father, mother, children. You see that. I don't know whether it works for all other relations, but at least within this, I've seen patterns after pattern, always coming into everybody's life.
That is so true, sir. Like at least like in case, like I have moon in Cancer and my daughter is Cancer ascendant.
It will be like that always. My moon sign is my son's lagna. My son's moon sign is my wife's lagna. It will be always like that. Something or the other, some connections will be there. Or if it is not there, it is not so karmic in nature. That's all you can say. But when it happens so perfectly. I saw many times, not just the lagna, but one more planet in the same degree as the parent, in the same place. Can you imagine?
Yes, sir.
Can you imagine how rare that can be? You see that?
My husband and my daughter, they both share like, astrological twins, sir. Like, third lord in 9th house, 7th lord in 11th house.
Something like
everything is like, there are at least 7 to 8 commonalities that they both share.
In a child,
511 axis.
Very good. In a childless couple, I mean, unfortunately, I can't share that, those type of horoscopes because sometimes I feel, why should I do that? Okay. It is same thing, same combination in Rashi chart, Bhava chart, surprisingly in Saptamsa. Can you imagine this? It is impossible even that it can be in Saptamsa also. Childless, no children. They came together with a plan to go through that karmic experience. So please do a lot of research on events in famous people's lives, maybe your relatives, yourself. You are the most famous person in this world. So do it on yourself. And then you will see something very nice. But after that, it only proves karma. And then it proves rebirth. Then you should think, oh my God, I'm going to be born again. How is that world going to be? How can I ensure that that is not going to be a bad place? When you watch movies, think about all possibilities of various experiences that a human being can. Sometimes God shows you possibilities through dreams. Sometimes dream experiences may not tally what you're going through in real life. Some other kind of experience. And from that, you know. Okay. So one day, because I was feeling so proud about the number of contacts that I have on my mobile phone, I had a dream where I'm walking in some other life and some trouble is happening. And I'm thinking whom to call. And then I find out that I don't have a phone. I'm so poor. And I can't even recall a single friend whom I can call. But something is telling me you have friends, but where are they? I mean, there was somebody, but what is the name? And how do you contact them? There's no gadget, there is nothing, no way. And you don't even know what's their name in the first place. And that's an experience. So next life won't be like this. It'll always be different. Okay. Or it's God's way of saying, taking you through different experiences. And so you can see in movies, it's a beautiful place to think of all possibilities. You can put yourself, like this, then this will happen. Like this will happen. You can try to guess the outcome in the movie. After this, what is going to happen? I'm very good at it. You show me the most complicated suspense thriller, I'll easily tell you who is they'll hide something and I'll know this is the guy. Many times my daughter asks me, how did you find out? There's no clue at all. But I have my own methods of finding. Because the director can't keep quiet. He will eventually give away some clues. Okay, so everything in us, the dream state, what kind of things you see, what kind of people you meet, all of this is not random. Nothing is random. It's all set up, planned. Okay, with that we'll end. I think it's getting too late for all of you. Just for my sake, I think you're holding on. So we'll end now.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
Till you are there, we will be there, sir.
Pavaniji, you're in Germany, right?
Yeah, Pavani, what will be the time? Oh, she's behind. Okay, that's why.
6:30, sir.
6:30.
Yeah. I mean, Germany is such a nice...
Students can be creative, Guruji.
Yeah. I mean, I can't forget Germany. It was such a... When I entered first time, it was like, is this real? What kind of place is so, fantastic it was. So quiet. My God.
They are like just villages, sir. Village atmosphere will be there even in the city.
So quiet. And I was just thinking, is it real? Am I walking here? Like that. I'll never forget.
Listen to silence. That is what we say.
Yeah. Okay,
And
let me see. I'm going to get a US visa in the coming 2023. I'm planning US. I hope I'll be there.
Sir, you should meet like all the students in US, sir.
What else? What else I have? Nothing else. I'll definitely meet.
Sridevi, come over here.
But
his son is like somewhere near us.
Yeah. But I'll have to first meet B.N. Rao first. I think he's in Hyderabad, right? I've never met B.N. Rao. Sai Prahlad, in spite of all this, I've never met him. So many people here I have not met.
Guruji, Sai Prahlad had an upliftment of status, Guruji, elevation in status today. Can you guess what it would be?
A son born.
Yes, Guruji. How did you predict so correctly?
Congratulations.
Wild guess.
Oh my God.
Because elevation always means father.
Okay, but son.
Yeah, but son is a greater, he has daughter, so it must be son.
No, he has son. The first is son, second is son.
Also son.
Second is also
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
So one of the things, by Jaimini, my Putra Karaka is Surya.
Okay.
So both my kids are born on a Sunday.
Oh. And where is the Putra Karaka occupying? Are you able to connect the Charadasa idea? if you have some software, Sri Jyoti or something, or I think even Jagannath Hora does that. You can check that.
Jay Hora has it.
You can check that. It will be something to do with the Pitruka, but the fifth one, no, the Putra Karaka.
Yeah.
Sai, is he like Pushya or Punarvasu?
Punarvasu, because morning, I think, right?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, now slowly, we are running out of patience, so we will quit. Okay, all the best. All the best for Sai Prahlad and all the best for everyone. Okay.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Guruji, Sai is here for the countdown today.
Oh
my God.
We are missing that countdown.
No. Let him not do the countdown. I'm not going to give him countdown because I don't think countdown looks like inauspicious. So we'll go for counting upwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So Prahlad will go up, count up.
T minus 1. T plus.
No, plus 1.
No, 1 plus.
This is so hard.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.